As part of my oil spill project, I've been trying to build an oil leak simulator tank, and I wanted to show how I'm getting on and give you some idea of the challenges involved making one of these. The tank is made of perspex and around A3 in size. It's roughly 2.5 centimetres wide, so that I save on water. And down one side, the right hand side, we have a tube that runs the length of it and into the bottom and underneath the stones that you see there. That tube is so that we can inject some oil, some sample, and it will come up through the stones much like a real world sensing situation. Now, in future testing, we will be using crude oil, but to start with, we want to use something a lot less toxic and a lot less dangerous, because crude oil is very nasty stuff even when handled in the laboratory. So what we're going to be using here is sort of like a crude oil substitute, which will look the part even if it doesn't have all the nasty things in it. So I went out and bought some sesame seed oil, black sesame seed oil, from our Cranfield student shop, and it looks a little bit like crude oil. Enough like crude oil anyway. And that's what we'll be using in the tank to show that the oil is actually seeping up from the bottom through the rocks like we want the proper oil to do. So what I'm doing here is just attaching a syringe full of the sesame seed oil and slowly injecting it down the side on the right. There's a few air bubbles coming out the pipe, and in a moment you should start to see kind of dark liquid there. That's the sesame seed oil coming out in lovely little blobs. Looks like a lava lamp seeping up from the bottom, and you can see a nice little cluster actually coming through the rock. A bit like sort of a pocket of oil underneath the shale or whatever would be on the ocean floor. And they're just obviously floating straight up to the surface. Now, what we propose to do in the future is have a little rig with a small sensor in the way of that oil so that we can see how the sensor performs in a simulated real-world-like environment. In future videos, we'll try and show this alongside the data so you can get an idea of how the whole thing works together.